Good morning, everyone, and welcome to 100 Yards of Football Sports Talk Radio. I'm going to be your host this morning, Logan Landers, and today I'm going to be doing an NFL game preview between the Los Angeles Rams and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. See who is going to be moving forward in the NFL playoffs. But before I get started, if you enjoy this video or this podcast episode here today, please be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. We go live each and every single week on Facebook and YouTube. Also, go check out our Instagram for clips of each and every video. And especially check out our podcast with over 600 episodes published on just the podcast alone. There is a ton of content. I'm talking about legends interviews, history specials, recruiting specials, draft prospects, anything and everything football related we have over there on the podcast, and even more so on our Facebook and YouTube pages. So please go over there and like, comment, share, and subscribe if you like the content here this morning. Well, let's stop beating around the bush. Let's get into it. I'm going to talk about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Los Angeles Rams. Both these teams had very dominant wins this past week in the Super Wild Card weekend. I'm going to talk about the Rams first. Got the big win over the Arizona Cardinals. A game I thought the Cardinals would win. I thought Kyler Murray would have a better performance. He let me down. I mean, what more is there to say? 19 of 34 passing, 137 yards, and 2 interceptions. That ain't going to get it done in the playoffs. On the flip side, Matt Stafford had a very productive and a pretty easy day. 13 of 17 passing, 202 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. So not too bad. Only sacked once on the day. Also got to credit Odell Beckham Jr. with a heck of a pass there for 40 yards. So great throw by him. It's crazy. At one point in the game, Odell had more passing yards than Kyler Murray, which is insane that a wide receiver at any point in a ball game, except for maybe the first drive, would have more yards than an active quarterback. So that was just pretty insane to see. Other than that, I mean, the Rams ran the ball very well, too. 140 yards as a team, led by Sony Michel with 58, Cam Akers with 55. Both of them had combined over 40 attempts at rushing. So they were looking good there. As for the receiving core, you already know who it is. It's Cooper Kupp leading the way, 5 catches for 61 yards and a touchdown. The best receiver in football this year, bar none. Odell Beckham Jr. finally got a touchdown in the playoffs, man. He's been out for a while. This is his first playoff game, I think, since 2016, if I'm not mistaken. So it's been quite a while. He had 4 catches for 54 yards and a touchdown on him for, and it's crazy. Ever since he came over from Cleveland in that trade, he has just been lights out. He's been great. He's been like the Odell of back in the Giants days. And it's glad to see that Matt Stafford's really able to pick up, how well he's adapting to this new culture, this new team. And he's thriving. He's done really well. Let's talk about the Rams defense because they did great. They pitched a shutout in the first half, right? Allowed 0 points the first and second quarters. A'Shaun Robinson led the team in tackles with 7. They also had a couple of sacks on the day. They had 2 in total. They had Aaron Donald get half a sack, Greg Gaines get half a sack, Von Miller, the veteran, get 1. So they were putting in work there on the D-line. Also, Von Miller second on the team in tackles with 6. And they were just putting in a lot of work, a lot of pressure on Kyler and on the defense for the Arizona Cardinals as well. David Long and Marquise Copeland each got an interception on the day. Long with a quick 3-yard pick 6, right? So right there at the end zone, put it in and got easy score for the Rams. And they just looked very dominant. They really did. The Cardinals could not get anything going on the rushing side. They only ran for 61 yards on 18 attempts, so not much going there. Connor and Edmonds didn't do much. As for their receiving core, the only big player was Christian Kirk, who had 6 catches for 51 yards. Other than that, it was pretty much silent from everyone else. But when your quarterback's struggling, there is a great chance that the rest of your team will struggle as well. And I mean, the defense just was not up to par as it's been in earlier games in the season. And that is how the Arizona Cardinals got knocked out, and that's how the Rams are going to go on and face the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this week. Let's go over to the Bucs now. They got a very easy win, in my opinion, against the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, to me, I watched this entire game, from kickoff to the final whistle, and it was a masterclass, right? It was Tom Brady doing what Tom Brady does: 29 to 37 passing, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Was sacked a few times for 4 times. As for the rushing game, it went great. And I mean, I know the Bucs are missing pieces on offense, obviously. Keyshawn Vaughn filled in nicely, 17 carries for 53 yards. And also the veteran Giovanni Bernard with 13 carries for 44. So they both of them got a touchdown, and they were able to really kind of help change the tempo and most importantly run off some clock for the Buccaneers. So they filled in nicely. And as for the Buccaneers, their defense, man, I'll get to them in a second, but they did great. Shut the Eagles out for 3 quarters, and then the fourth, whenever the game was kind of really put away, they eased off a little bit, and that's really how the Eagles got the 15 points up on the board. But other than that, they look tremendous. For the receiving core, Mike Evans, one of the most reliable receivers in the game, 9 catches, 117 yards, and a touchdown for the young man. Also, Giovanni Bernard doing his thing, 5 catches for 39. And the vet, Tom Brady's golden boy, Rob Gronkowski, 5 catches, 31 yards, and a touchdown for him. So the receiving core did great. He threw to a lot of guys. Tyler Johnson got some action, Cam Brate, Scotty Miller, O.J. Howard. The list goes on and on. And they just did a really good job of spacing out the Eagles with the running game. That did great. And the receiving core. And, of course, Tom Brady, when you have him, you're going to be in for a pretty good day. For the defense, they did a tremendous job. They got 2 sacks against Jalen Hurts. Credit those to Steve McClendon and Antoine Winfield Jr. They did great. Mike Edwards led team in tackles with 9. Right behind him is Jamel Dean with 8. And they did really good. They had 7 passes defended. They were really on their game on defense in the secondary. They had 2 interceptions, one by Shaq Barrett and the other one by Mike Edwards. And they just did a very good job. They made the Eagles look like they did not, they weren't belonging of being in that playoff position. And the Buccaneers took care of business easy as can be. The only concern about that is they had 2 offensive linemen get injured briefly. So they are going to be a little bit nicked up coming into this game. That was, of course, Mr. Jansen and, of course, the big guy, Tristan Wirfs. So we'll see how they fare. Of course, everyone's injured this time of year. But we'll see if those nagging injuries from this previous week come in and play effect this week against the Rams. So it's going to be a great matchup, right? We had both teams had really good offenses, really good defenses this past week, kind of identical scores. So you have Tom Brady. He is, of course, like I said, missing some pieces. Both his running backs, Leonard Fournette, he's out. And also Mr. Ronald Jones, I believe, is out also. So I'm not sure if they're going to be back or not. Like I said, we're doing this preview on a Wednesday. The game will be this weekend. So they could be back after I'm done recording this episode, but we're not sure at this time. But man, I think that if it was me, I'm going to give this one to the Rams. I think that Matt Stafford, it's his time right now. I think that, last week, I think Brady and company were able to get past the Eagles, even though they were missing a couple of pieces pretty easy, and kind of show that they were the dominant team as they were, pretty much the entire season. And, I've said it from the beginning. Whatever team is healthiest is going to get the furthest. And the Rams, I get, they do have a few injuries themselves. They're not perfect. But I think I feel a little bit more confident in them. They did a great job against, I think, a better team in the Cardinals. So I think I'm going to give the win to the Los Angeles Rams in this one moving forward in the playoffs in the NFC. I'm going to go with the final score of the Los Angeles Rams 28 and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 20. A very close game. It could go either way, of course. You can never count out Tom Brady, but I just think the Rams have a little bit more momentum. I think Matt Stafford's going to have another great game. Watch out for Cooper Kupp to have a good game, and we'll see what Tom Brady can do with all of his guys on the Bucs. But I think it's going to be a great game, and I can't wait to watch it unfold this weekend. So if you guys have enjoyed this NFL playoff game preview between the Rams and the Buccaneers, please be sure to leave a like, a comment, a share, or subscribe. We go live each and every week on Facebook and YouTube. We have an amazing podcast that puts out episodes each and every single day with over 600 episodes on just the podcast, almost 1,000 episodes on YouTube, and who knows how many on Facebook, more than that. So please go over there and watch some of our amazing content. I'm talking about legend interviews, history specials, recruiting specials, draft prospects, anything and everything I can think of football related, we have over there on our channels. So please go over there and leave us a like if you'd ever do so, and it would help us out greatly. So, ladies, I've been your host this morning, Logan Landers. I've been doing the game preview for the Los Angeles Rams and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I got the Rams pulling out the win in this one, 28-20. Leave your final prediction, your final score in the comments, and we'd love to talk with you. But until then, we will see you on another live episode in just a little